We are live 364 days a year. What are we doing here?
If Dom turns at SummerSlam, I'm shaving my moustache off. I've told you, if that happens, it's going. My lip is cold because of a stupid bet that I made on YouTube.
Wrestle's better than Daniels. Better than Okada.
What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. It is August 24th. We're fresh off of a door that was previously forbidden but was opened up. New Japan and AEW in London. Our good friend Ben Allison was there. Our good friend David Sheldon was there. We have a lot of people in attendance. I've got a sick crew with me to break this all down, and welcome to our post show. I'm stoked about it. Yes, Corey, still hungover, Clark. Not today. That was yesterday. Let's start the show, though. Let me introduce you to my friends really quickly. I'm going to send this one across the coast to Angie. Out of the gates. What is going on, my friend? Good to have you. Did you enjoy Forbidden Door?
I did. I enjoyed it. But gosh, I'm traumatized. This is what happens when you go far too long without briefing yourself first on what AEW is all about, especially when it comes down to things like Forbidden Door. So I'm a little traumatized, but overall, honestly, pretty good pay-per-view.
Absolutely. I mean, 13 matches, but there's definitely one of them we need to talk about pretty quickly here. But before we do, let me also introduce my good friend over on the East Coast, Dez. He may be a Cowboy fan, but I also know he's got Boston ties. This guy's Massachusetts all over him. What's going on, Dez?
You're not wrong about the Boston ties. I do have that. Yeah, it was a hell of a show. Great to talk about it with you guys. We all saw it. Lots of stuff happened. The ending was, it didn't end on the nicest of notes, but sometimes that's just how it is. Sometimes there's bad endings, and you just got to keep on moving forward, keep storylines moving. So, yeah, let's get into it.
Absolutely. Before we do, I do have a comment to read. What a pay-per-view here from Haley and Blake. And these are two of my really good friends. If you can see the comment above, obviously that's just not nice. That's not right. I mean, the Cubs, why now? And I know that the fact that Blake would put Haley's name on a comment like that, I think is just wrong to start the show. But what we will do to start the show is break down this unreal PLE. Let's talk about Angie. What got you going on this one? This lights out steel cage match. Because this was a wave of emotions. I mean, tables broken, Darby Allin, earrings and forks. I mean, there was a lot.
Don't remind me of the earring.
There's a lot of
grody spot, man.
There was quite a bit of cutlery involved in this match. There's no doubt about that. Tanahashi, the president of New Japan, picks up the victory via frog splash. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. And then it's not Darby where it gets gnarly this time. It's Will Ospreay at the end of the show as he's getting the applause from his hometown crowd. Chair pinched around his neck, stomped multiple times. We are aware of what's going on with that neck injury. What were your thoughts on the match, Ange? And I mean, the finish was amazing. The match was amazing, but what we saw after with those shenanigans, talk to me about it.
So, I will say that the match itself was, it was everywhere. It was chaotic, but it was entertaining to watch. Being able to see all of those big names in there, and being able to actually witness what they're really like in the ring, because before being able to watch this pay-per-view, I didn't have really much to work with as far as for knowing the wrestlers before the match. So I'm sitting here like, oh, so this is this person, the entire time. But being able to be like, Okay, so that's why they're a big deal. It's such a wonderful thing. And then, oh boy, the spot with the fork and just I have pierced ears. So like if my studs even got caught onto my own hair, like it hurts. So I can only imagine having a fork just okay. But other than that, like the finish for the match itself, like the finish itself was such a feel good moment. I absolutely loved how they winded up ending it. And here I'm thinking, oh, we're all done here. We got the credits. We have the credits at the bottom. We got the logo going. And then Osprey just getting freaking blasted like that. I was just like, oh, we're not done. So I'm sitting here just watching in shock and horror while he's just getting completely demolished, locked in, and just, oh gosh, it was brutal. But at the same time, it was freaking awesome to watch.
I'm so with you because I got hung up in the story too, and it was awesome. We watched it, obviously, all of us together, the three of us. And I mean, this was really special, I think, in a cool way because AEW has delivered some pretty brutal matches over the years, right? You invoked ECW pre-show, and I was like, "Yep, it's got those vibes." I thought this one was pretty outside of the fork spot, tasteful in that regard. It could have gotten uglier. There was just the right amount, I think, for this one of pure violence. And yeah, I mean, we've got Ryan Matthew Lamb here with therefore I Lamb. I apologize. We got a Marvel post-credit scene, obviously friend of the show. Yes, exactly. We got the extra scene. I dug it. I think the coolest part about this, like you mentioned, you haven't watched a ton of AEW or even New Japan to that extent. Tanahashi, the story was told well enough, though, that wouldn't you agree? You got locked in.
Absolutely.
Once you were like, oh, wait, that's who that is. That's who that is. Even the Young Bucks, as simple as their entrance. I thought this was something, it was really difficult to follow the two previous matches, and I thought they did a really, really good job. Oh my goodness. Haley and Blake with Ryan Lamb used to be funny. I think he still is. Come on, Blake. I know Haley didn't say that. That's not nice. But Des, I know you're chomping at the bit. Yeah, Lamb is a gentleman and a scholar. But I know you're chomping at the bit here, Des, to talk about this main event. From the Bucks and the non-entrance to the planned entrance, the no smoking sign over the EVP, all of it. I was tickled by it. I thought this was the proper main event. What were your thoughts on that? And then the match as a whole?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I love what's going on with the Bucks right now. I think they have one of the funniest gimmicks in wrestling, where they had the whole storyline of them losing the EVP titles and now going for this whole production. I think it's great. It's a lot of fun. It's very creative, too. The way the Bucks are selling it is also really funny. I got to say, I think the match as a whole, it was a car wreck, and I think in the best ways possible. There was multiple spots. There was a lot of stuff that was, kind of cringing in a way, just knowing the history of what's going on. Obviously, Osprey taking a pile driver, him getting beat up, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And then I thought it was really cool that Tanahashi did get the win. I got to say, like Angie mentioned, the spot where they were, using the fork onto the piercing, I gotta say, it really reminded me of the same spot that Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy went through, where Randy Orton put a screwdriver into Jeff Hardy's ear, because it was very, very, it was a rough spot to see, but it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I also think it's just a lot of star power. When you really think about it, you have 10 of the biggest names in AEW. Yes, 2 of them are in New Japan, but when you consider it as a whole, like the star power is undeniable. And it also doesn't have to be another match without my guy Darby Allin, without almost, wanting to hurt himself very badly. But hey, it's for the love of the game. I got to say, though, this was a lot of fun. And like I was mentioning earlier, sometimes we don't have to end it with a happy ending, right? Sometimes we get the sad ending, but the sad ending makes the story more appealing as we go on. But I want to know what you guys think about the final ending with Ospreay potentially being out for a year.
I mean, look, that's the interesting part too, because it's a really good question, Des. And I think obviously emotionally after we're a little exhausted after all of that, right? But just coming straight out of this pay-per-view, a year seems like too long, and I'm really hoping it's not that.
We'll see.
And the fact that this happened, you look at something like a Cody Rhodes shoulder or things like that, where it was like he's gone forever, right? And you just hope that for Ospreay's sake, he was able to wrestle around it tonight. He didn't look like a limited Will Ospreay, not in any way. I don't know anyone that would say that, at least not on this panel, right? Like he didn't look like he was in any way limited, and that's a testament to his willpower and his skill in the ring. I'm not denying the fact that he's in pain with a legitimate injury, but the truth of the matter is, if he can recover from this and come back against anybody involved in the post-match attack, it's as good as you can ask for. Yeah. That is the way that this should be written. And what I really think is going to go underappreciated in hindsight is you look at the way the show finished, and you've got Will Ospreay being cheered for what he did for Tanahashi. And Tanahashi gets his moment. And then it's all about Ospreay. They play his music. The brilliance of that and not bringing the cage up. And then the locker room has to empty. All of that. I dig it. The only complaint I have is this is not the first time we've seen the locker room empty for AEW. And it's a little odd in that regard. It's a little WCW. Oh no, what are we going to do about the NWO? Right?
Okay, right. I see.
And that I'm fearful that is the default if we're going to send people home upset about the finish. It's not just like Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39 where he beats Cody Rhodes and he walks out of there with the title. No, here comes the crew, and it's like, and everybody, it's roster. And if we're going to do the warfare story, tell that fully. Because we had 5-on-5, but it wasn't supposed to be good guys versus bad guys company-wide.
Right.
And that would be my only complaint. Other than that, I thought this match was brilliant. Here's a weird deal for me. Obviously, this is going to lead to Moxley and Darby. That now has to happen, right? They both did a cannonball through all the tables. What is up with the carpentry in the UK? Can somebody from the UK in the comments talk about that? What's up with that?
I don't know.
Explain this. There's nails in the tables. I don't get it. But
if I may, for a quick moment, there is something that we didn't mention that was honestly really good as far as for adding on to like the story behind like some of the character, the side behind some of the personas and everything. Was that spot where Will Ospreay was protecting sorry, one more time. Tanahashi?
Tanahashi. Yeah.
Thank you.
Tanahashi.
It was protecting the back of his head and neck, protecting his neck while like he's getting bombarded by everyone else. And I just thought that was a really good moment of storytelling. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but that actually tells me the respect that Will Ospreay has for him. I thought that was really a wonderful spot there too. And I'm a little sad that I didn't bring that up earlier. I'm sorry.
No, don't even worry, because I'm sincerely so glad you brought it up. It's so true. You think about Will Ospreay's history in New Japan and what Tanahashi being the ace and being the president of New Japan Pro Wrestling means to a guy like Will Ospreay.
Mhm.
The emotion involved in that moment, I'm so glad you brought that up because it's so true. And I think it made the frog splash land better
Mhm.
than it may have. And I think it made the finish what the finish was. And I'm in complete agreement, Angie. I'm stoked you brought that up. I will say this. We've got a bazillion things to talk about today, my friends.
Oh yeah, we
We
do.
could talk about that main event the rest of the night, but let's talk about what I thought could have, maybe should have been the main event in a different universe right here. And let's talk about Tony Storm and Athena because I thought this was the match of the night.
Honestly, it really was. I thought that it was honestly like one of the best parts of the night. Now, for me personally, I honestly think it was it hits more closer to home to me because I went into this match already knowing about Tony Storm and Athena from their time in WWE for a little bit, but now getting a chance to see what they're really like and not them being so limited, they put on such a smooth match. It was like from bell to bell, it was one of the smoothest matches that I've seen for a women's match. And that's really sad to say now, but at the same time, I'm really impressed. I'm really happy I got a chance to see what it was, you know? And then on top of that, it was a pretty clean match. There was that one moment where we almost had like outside interference and everything, but like it winded up, being taken towards the back and everything. And then it just finished. That finish was wonderful. And so glad to see Tony Storm get another win. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
I thought so too, sincerely. And like, I think it's match of the night. Realistically, like you said,
Mhm.
bell to bell, it's off the charts. And obviously, stylistically, AEW and WWE are different, right?
Mhm.
And we should gauge them differently. And I loved the way that you presented that. You're like, I've watched more WWE than AEW, but now I got to see what Tony's capable of here with more of a blank canvas, I would say.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference, right? It's like you can paint a picture, inside the lines. You're allowed to sort of blur the lines in AEW in a way you're maybe not necessarily allowed to in WWE. And I think Tony has done such an amazing job. I think Athena tonight, the ROH run has been off the charts, but
Yes.
she showed just how good she can really be. I think Athena really, there's a difference between getting over and going over.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't go over, but she got over. There's no doubt about it. This is hysterical. Roundhead with Ben Allison's days are numbered. Wait till I see him on a daily after what his Arsenal did to my beautiful Leeds. I apologize, Roundhead. I can't help you with that one. But I do have to ask Des about this Women's World Championship match. Tony Storm, the makeup, the entrance, all of these things. We could cover that for the rest of the show too. It's just, it's off the charts. Then you have Athena, and Athena needs to be on Wednesday nights and Saturday nights more often. And I think that's the biggest thing we learned today. Do you feel like there was anything else, Des? Or my other question is, do you feel like Athena Tony Storm rematch is the next logical play?
I think it's great that you actually mentioned that, because in my head, I'm thinking we have to run this back, right? Like, there's no way we could just have this be one match. Their chemistry together was really, really good. And like you guys said, it wasn't just clean. It was just mint. Like, it was just really, really perfect. They had amazing chemistry together. It's almost like Toni Storm is proving why she is the best women's wrestler in the world, on par with Mercedes Moné and Io Sky as well. But I'm talking AEW for this scenario. And Athena is proving to be the most underrated woman in all of wrestling currently. There is not bad matches when she's on. I'm not going to lie, I don't really watch Ring of Honor as much, so I don't see a lot of her Ring of Honor work, but I did go to Spring Breakthrough, and I saw her match against Mercedes Moné for the Owen Hart Cup, and it was phenomenal. She is a really, really, really good wrestler. I love her presentation. Yeah, I feel like they have to run this back right now. I got to say, though, I'm very interested in seeing who is going to beat Toni Storm for this championship. Do you guys think Athena will eventually dethrone Toni Storm, or do you feel like Athena will just stay the Ring of Honor Women's Champion and then they're going to coast on different paths? Because I feel like a rematch is definitely in order.
I'm super glad you asked that question because I have a theory, and you just said, I mean, if you watch baseball, you just threw me a hanging breaking ball. Because my answer is I actually think Athena is the one that takes the title off Monet.
Okay.
She beats Monet for the TBS title. I don't think she beats Storm for the world title on AEW until she beats Monet for the TBS title. I think she's the answer to that question. We've mentioned numerous people on this very program, right? Like, it's gonna be Willow, it's gonna be Statlander, right? It's been a bunch of people over time. At this stage, I actually think the answer is Athena. That makes the most sense. And I think that I weirdly learned that tonight the more I watched it. She's so dang good in the ring. We got to get her off ROH. We got to get her working. This is interesting. Fernando, Jamie Hayter did return, but beating Toni, it's going to be a tall task. We'll see about that. No doubt about it. Let's keep it rolling, though. Let's talk about Kyle Fletcher and Takahashi, because this is a match that I feel like we can kind of run through pretty quick here. Kyle Fletcher is pretty darn good. I don't think there's any debate about that. I get the Randy Orton comparisons, because guess what? He's basically been cosplaying him with kick pads since he changed his gimmick. At the same time, I don't know that he is Randy Orton in the future. Daz, I'm going to go to you out of the gates here. Is Kyle Fletcher the next guy? What are we doing here?
I like Kyle Fletcher a lot. I gotta say, he did kind of remind me of Randy Orton, and I kind of don't like it when people are like, "Oh, it's just a WWE bootleg." But I don't know, the bald head, the tattoo on the arm, and then he used to have like the very similar tights to Randy Orton. So I guess that's a fair comparison. I like Kyle Fletcher a lot, though, man. I think he's a super underrated wrestler. He was someone that I thought was underrated for a long time, just kind of a guy that was like in the mid card. But I feel like ever since he, went heel, he shaved his head, he's been seen as more of a threat, and I feel like rightfully so, because him and Will Ospreay had really, really good chemistry together, and I feel like he can be a good mainstay for the main event picture. The main event picture right now, though, is really stacked, but potentially with guys like Swerve and Ospreay, which we don't know yet for sure, but there's a chance they probably take time off. There's going to be an open spot available. Kyle Fletcher could take that spot, and hopefully he can elevate a TNT championship, because I'm going to be honest, it really hasn't been seen in the highest light until Christian Cage was a champion, right? Jack Perry, he was a fine champion. Cope was a good champion, but he kind of had it and then lost it, right? And Garcia was fine, but it was a very short run. So for me, they really got to capture that prestige of the TNT championship and make it important.
I'm with you on that. We've also got Joey Maguire Yevo over here with he's nothing like Randy Jesus. Whoa, Jesus Christ. I mean, he's kind of they look alike.
A little bit.
I didn't think we were going to go full religion on that one, but at the same time, I hear where you're coming from, Des. I think you're spot on. Let's do some tag action and then save a couple good ones for the end of the show here. What do you think, my friends?
I'm down. Let's go.
Let's go straight into some tag action. Let's talk about FTR. The Hurt Syndicate and FTR versus Bro Dito. Oh my goodness.
I joked about it. I was getting fish.
I don't. Angie, I'm gonna go to you first. I don't think that's how they planned it. Did you think that's how they planned it?
Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Because like what makes it worse is the fact of the camera angle on top of that. Because like the camera angle made it to where it was even more suspicious on like what was supposed to happen there, because normally whenever we get pins like that, it's supposed to be a nice close-up so we can see what's going on, and that's not what we got there. So I don't know what they were trying to do, but that looked like a botch. Oh boy. And it doesn't help with the fact that it was an okay match, if I can say that. Like, don't get me wrong,
you can
I
say
like
that.
Bobby Lashley, but like that was that thing.
Yeah,
Nah,
it was.
that finish just ruined it for me.
It was so goofy. Like it felt like they had it for a second, and then it was like, wait, no, that's it. That's it. And like that's what I think sucks about it is the match was gonna be fine. If it works, the ending is like all you can remember coming out of it. It's like, oh no. Like, why'd you do that? Like, what was the thought process there? It's such a funky one. Let's get to one that was a little less funky. Let's talk about another tag match here, though, and let's all of us talk about this one because you don't. I have to say, Copeland. It's Copeland and Cage versus Kip Sabian and not Nick Saban, which I almost accidentally said. Kip Sabian and Killswitch.
Nick Saban,
that
he popped
that
in
was
for
gonna
AEW.
happen. I was about to be like, yeah, it's Cope and Christian versus Nick Saban and Killswitch. The whole Alabama Crimson Tide. But no, it is Kip Sabian that was in this match. At the end of the day, the assisted spear I was a fan of. I dug it. I thought this was an awesome opener. Edge, I'm gonna say it. What am I gonna get in trouble? Am I not supposed to say Edge? We have Edge and Christian, the coolest ones. They won all the TLC matches. Go Google it. They won all of them. And we finally have them back together. Get the win over Kip and Killswitch, the artist formerly known as Luchasaurus. This felt really good. In hindsight, it feels really average when you think about what happened with FTR as well. Like, so Bandito and Brody King are the new tag champs. I have no problem with Edge and Christian versus Bandito and Brody King, other than it's supposed to be against FTR. So I'm going to ask you the ultimate Clark question here, Des. What in the world are we doing here?
I feel like that's exactly what the path is going to go on. I got to say, I was joking about Brodito, honestly. I was grabbing fish. Dinner was ready. I was like, Brodito's going to win. And you guys were like, they're not going to win. And deep down, I knew they were not going to win. But the fact they did, I think, was just really funny. I do think they're going to drop the titles. They'll probably Dynamite maybe like 2 weeks before All Out. Because I feel like FTR versus Cope and Christian is the play at this point. It makes the most sense, to be honest, right? It's in Canada. FTR put Cope out of action. And they went to attack Christian. I just feel like it just works perfectly. I got to say, though, I didn't really watch this match. I hate to say it just because I was at work. It was happening at the same time. So I will be rewatching it. And I'm interested to see the chemistry between Cope and Cage. But from what I've seen, like, it's just really cool, man. Can you imagine saying that in 2025 that we would have Adam Copeland and Christian, Edge, to be fair, Edge and Christian, a tag team together, you know, and they're still getting fan reaction and still putting on great matches. It's, I think it's really cool to see, but I do feel like FTR is a play for sure.
Sorry, technical difficulty.
No, it's okay.
No
Cool.
doubt about it. Thank you. I'm
It's
100%
okay.
with you. Yeah, no, I mean, look, Edge and Christian tagging together is so key. Separate entrances is unique. I
Mhm.
think too. That's
Mhm.
something we didn't really talk about.
After what, 11 years?
Oh, I actually never
They
had
said
More than that, 2011. So 14.
about 14 years.
Yeah, I mean, look, people always talk Hardys, Dudleys, Hardys, Dudleys, Hardys, Dudleys. Who won all the matches? It was Edge and Christian.
It's true.
That's a natural fact. They won all of the important.
I may have to
three-way
fact
matches.
check you on that one.
Look it up. Google it. They won all the important ones. It ends up being like done.
All of the important ones, you say? Okay.
All of them. No, there's not a three-way that wasn't won by Edge and Christian. That's the funniest part.
Yeah.
There's not one.
Don't make me look it up because I might actually do it.
We will. Toby, are you there? Is anybody in the comments? Somebody look it up. Tell me I'm right on that. The triangle ladder match, the TLCs.
Yeah, the
Well-
birth of the TLC match and everything. I could have sworn the Hardys won one of those matches.
Not one. Never did. And always
I don't
build
think
as
so.
the experts of the match.
They just
They
took the biggest
win
bumps.
one of them. The real experts are Edge and Christian. They always have been. It's actually wild. When you think about it in hindsight, it is bizarre. It really is. Okay. We've got more matches to cover here though. Including one that I actually almost forgot about, which would have been a huge mistake. Let's talk about Kazuchika Okada and Swerve. Whose house? Swerve's house.
Swerve's house.
Injury angle wise, I'm pretty confident after the main event that we've already covered on this program. That's why I don't remember that the knee injury thing was a problem, because we were forking earrings at a certain point of the show.
We've been forking earrings.
You know, they were forking earrings. The things escalated quickly. So
That could have been worded so differently, but you chose that.
Yeah, it's hard for me to.
You know,
Hard
this
for
is not
me
gonna be
to.
wrong.
It's hard for me to sit here. It's hard for me to sit here and think, you know, that the knee injury was a real problem. Daz, I'm going to go to you on this one first.
Yeah, for sure.
This is Okada by Rainmaker, and then obviously Swerve. He's going to be having some knee problems.
He is. I gotta say, this was a pretty good match as well. I really hope, like I said, they can continue giving these matches to Okada. They really got to make this unified championship as important as they make it seem, right? Because Okada, he's a really good wrestler. Yes, he's lost a step, but he can still go in the ring. I truly do believe that. And obviously, with this whole Don Callis family situation, I got to say, I'm interested to see if they will actually pull the trigger on Takeshita versus Okada. I think that'll be a fantastic match. But I got to say, I thought this was a really, really good match. There was definitely moments where I thought Swerve was going to win. He obviously did not win. And then we had the post-match angle where Swerve was being attacked because he had his knees trapped in the steel steps, and then Okada started attacking it. So there is a lot of talk about him potentially taking time off, which is it's totally fair. You know, I got to say, this was a really good match too. And obviously, one of the biggest talking points is Wardlow is back. So I got to ask you guys, what are your thoughts about Wardlow being back? Do you think this is going to factor into a potential match, maybe between Takeshita and Wardlow, possibly at Full Gear All Out?
I think it's a great question. Wardlow's addition to the Callis family is hysterical to me, because I think, okay, let's hit pause right now.
All right,
for a second.
pause.
All three of us.
Okay, pause.
I thought Wardlow would be involved in Max's stuff. MJF, his old buddy.
Right.
The whole nine. Now we added another muscle man to the Callis family. Somehow this guy looks like a human thumb, and he's recruited a crew of yoked dudes. And that's the story that we're telling.
He does kind of look like a thumb.
He looks literally exactly like a human thumb.
Almost like Richard Jefferson, kind of.
And yeah, he's thumbs up, you know, and
Don Callis.
Yeah, Don Callis. And he's got a crew of yoke dudes that apparently believe in what he has to say.
Yeah.
And one of them now is Wardlow. Here's my problem. They all stand next to each other, and Don Callis is tall. I'm like,
You're right.
Wardlow's out there standing next to, I mean, Kyle Fletcher's taller than Wardlow. Callis is tall. They're all out there. They're all yoked. I don't know. What do you feel about the future of the Callis family, Angie? I'm going to toss it to you for this one.
Oh, you're tossing it to me? Gosh. Okay. So like I mentioned before, like I don't have a lot to go by. I know I shouldn't have, but I kind of went into this like cold turkey. So I don't have a lot to go on, but if the rest of this faction looks like this, then they might be to a point where they'd be completely unstoppable. So like, yeah, this futures looks like it will favor them the most.
I'm with you. It's funny to me because I'm like, Don Callis was the leader of the oddities. I don't know if y'all know about the oddities.
I
That
don't
was
know
like
as much.
that was Kurgan and Luna Vachon and all the dancing, and it was ridiculous. And this is what it should be. Like the Callis family, he's so hateable. It's perfect.
He is.
There's no one
He
easier to
is.
dislike than Don Callis. I dig it. Like as a fan, period. I totally dig it. I think it's the move. But we've got 3 more matches that we need to break down.
All
I'm going to go with this one.
All right.
The
That's it.
IWGP World Title, the Zack Sabre Jr. versus Nigel McGuinness. I'm not going to lie. This was just for Britain. I didn't care. It wasn't
You didn't
that fun
care?
for me. No.
Okay, that's fair.
And I love grappling, but like this was
It's an acquired
goofier
taste. I get it.
This is goofier than a freaking football bat. I'm going to go to you on this, Des. Say something positive. Save this segment because I don't have anything good to say about it. Nigel McGuinness is a stud. ZSJ, I don't know. Buy clothes that fit. Figure it out.
All right. To quote one of my favorites, I'm going to be a positive Pete for this segment because I got to say, I really, really like this match, right? Good old-fashioned British grabs, amazing submission. Zack Sabre Jr. really is one of the best wrestlers in the world right now when it comes to it. Now, I'm not going to lie, I don't watch a lot of New Japan matches, but whenever I see Zack Sabre wrestle, he is so technically gifted. His submissions, his pinfalls, the way he does all these holds, it's truly fantastic. And for Nigel McGuinness to be 49 years old, keep up with Zack Sabre, and still be technically gifted the way he was back in Ring of Honor, I thought this was a really, really good match. This is my type of wrestling match, right? Back then, I liked the big names, and I still like the big names now, but I like good old-fashioned wrestling grabs, and this is exactly what we got. It's an acquired taste, right? I get it. Some people don't like technical wrestling. They don't like the grappling and submissions. I totally understand. And yes, this was for Britain. I get it because it's in London. But I thought this match was one of the best matches of the night, in my honest opinion. Maybe not the top 3, but it's 100% up there. I was really happy when Nigel McGuinness did win the qualification match for this match. I never really had any doubt that Zack Sabre was going to win, but I got to say, for what it was, I thought it was definitely a really good match.
I hear you there. I will say this. I mean, you've got more faith in Zack Sabre Jr. than I do. There's no debate about that. Nigel McGuinness is great. I think Zack Sabre Jr. is like vanilla at a yogurt shop. Not a lot of people want to pull that lever. That's just all I'm saying. I get it, kind of, with like the small joint manipulation, and they're doing fingers and hands and arms and whatnot. ZSJ doesn't do anything for me. I don't get it.
That's fair. No, that's fair.
I really don't get it. And it's not to say he's not talented. He's supremely talented. I just don't get it. Let's talk about things I do get, though. Let's talk about this Mercedes Moné Windsor Bozilla Persephone match. Persephone, we had a long conversation, Angie, pre-show. about Greek goddesses.
Yes, we did.
Persephone takes this pinfall tonight against Mercedes. I love the match because she stole it. And it's a classic get over, go over situation. I thought this worked. I thought it was a really good match. I don't know that it needed to be 4. That's where I'm a little thrown. I want to get your thoughts on that.
I don't know. I kind of like the fact that it was a fatal 4-way like this. And it got to a point where we, like, I already know enough about Mercedes Moné to the point where it gives me a headache, but we're not going to go on that because I'm not going to get myself dragged around these comments of someone's going, oh, but Mercedes is really cool. No, we're not doing that today. But I love the fact that I got to see more fresher names, especially Persephone. I love the fact that, honestly, the match itself was really good. I will give it that. There were some moments that could have been a little bit better, but other than that, the finish of the match, I really liked it. And like my focus was pretty much on Persephone, and I can't wait to see a little bit more of her in like other matches and everything as well.
I'm with you. Persephone was awesome. I thought she killed it. Mexican superstar, CMLL superstar. I think absolutely this is something that's really, really, really good. I'm about to embarrass myself live on there though, right? Did we talk about Okada Swerve yet?
We did.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, see, I knew we did. I was a little nervous.
Like, I can understand where you're coming from with this because of the fact, like, from start to finish of this entire pay-per-view is a little, like, kind of, it was progressionally better as the night went along. Start of the pay-per-view, it was kind of, it was lackluster in my opinion. Like, it was a little lackluster, but then it got slowly but surely, like, as the night went on, like, it got so much better.
And I'm gonna let everybody in on a little inside baseball here. The way that everything's ordered in the production thing, it reshuffled after I clicked them. So I was confused. I was like, wait, no, they were in order before. They're not in order anymore.
You know,
I was like,
I know why,
that doesn't make sense.
I know why, Clark, because Okada was backstage. Remember on the computer? Oh, that tricky. I knew Okada was behind him, man. He knew. He was like,
talk about us again. I was sitting there, I'm like, no, we did that one, right? Like, I was. Did I imagine that?
He wants to talk about his match again.
We have Shiva _DFT with who's that lady? I'm sure you're asking. That's Angie. That's Angie. 100%. Let's talk about the freaking co-main event of the evening. Let's talk about Hangman Page and MJF. Because I enjoyed this one immensely. I mean, nearly impossible to follow Tony and Athena, right? Like, nearly impossible. I thought they did a heck of a job. Card order, I think, held this back from being arguably men's match of the night, because there's no debate about the fact that Athena and Tony was the women's match of the night. And then match of the night's a separate conversation. We can talk about that later. But for right now, I thought this was as close as you could get outside of the cage match. I'm going to start with you, Des, and then I'm going to go to you, Angie, and then the three of us will break this down and we'll all head home and have some fun. Because I do know that Heat Wave is coming up real shortly.
It is. Heat Wave's coming up. It's actually Massachusetts, too, by the way. It's actually not that far from here. But I got to say, man, Hangman, in my opinion, is the best wrestler this year. This guy has not put on a bad match. Fletcher, Ospreay, Mox, MJF again. He doesn't miss. All hits, no misses. That's what Hangman's all about, because he is a fantastic wrestler. I got to say, a Hangman MJF number 2 was a really, really good match as well. These guys have amazing chemistry together. This is why I believe MJF should never, ever go back to being a good guy. He is such a good guy that you want to hate, right? He's the heel that you love, but you want to hate him because he's so good at his job, right? He's always looking for the easy way out. He's very cocky, very disrespectful. He's not humble at all, always looking for shortcuts, and he fits that villain role so perfectly. And while MJF is the main character in AEW, they gel together so well. I gotta say, I really want these guys to run it back in the trilogy. There was a lot of close calls in this match. I did think MJF was actually going to win at one point, potentially at the end, possibly cash in. He did not. But yeah, this was a fantastic match. For me, this is my match of the night. And no disrespect to Tony and Athena. They had an amazing match. But for me, this just had me really pulled in because I honestly thought MJF was going to win.
They really did have us for a second there. And you know who deserves a shout out is Bryce Remsburg.
Yeah. Bryce Remsburg.
The referee job was excellent.
Was.
Those spots were really, really well thought out. This is where it gets dicey. Now, obviously, he's still got that silly contract that
He does.
he got hit over the head with. Angie, how long is it going to take here before Max is our AEW World Champion? And what did you think of the match?
Honestly, I really liked the match. Also, don't mind me, decided to hold my mic this time. But the match itself, honestly, was really cool. I kind of got, and I'm sorry ahead of time, guys. Like, I don't have a lot else to really reference by, but like a lot of the spots towards the end of the match kind of reminded me kind of like a mix of how Edge went about his matches and also a little bit of Eddie Guerrero there for a minute. So like it was honestly a delight just seeing like how much they could try to get away with the ref still like kind of being like, hey, no, I see you. And also I might get a little bit about saying this. MJF kind of gives me, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, he kind of gives me the idea of, he kind of gives late 2000s Miz. Like piggybacking on what you were saying. Hold on. Let me explain. Just piggybacking on what you were saying earlier, it's like one of those heels that you love to hate and everything. It's just so good at being like the bad guy and everything. And to be fair, The Miz was also one of those guys. Like he was one of those ones where it's like you try to put him in a face role and it just doesn't always correlate, you know. But as soon as you gets that heel turn, there it is. You could also argue the same thing with Randy Orton too. Like there's a good handful of those wrestlers that are just like they're a better heel than they are a face. That's where I'm gonna end that one before I get cooked.
I'll go a step further, to be honest. I think Max is the best at that game since Roddy Piper.
Yeah, I agree.
I think I think he's Roddy Piper. Like, and I hear where you're coming from on Miz. And there was a little Roddy with Miz, but Roddy leaving an LA crowd with a ring filled with chairs thrown at him. That level of heel work, he was going to burn Mark Briscoe alive.
He was
covered the man. He kidnapped the guy and covered him in gasoline to not have to use his contract. Max will do whatever it takes to win. He doesn't care how he gets there. And that is the most interesting thing about Max. The other thing is he's clever as a fox.
He is.
The stuff he says, the stuff that comes out of his mouth is so absurd. It's Miz-like, but he's got a little bit less of a leash. So he can say things where you're like, oh, he shouldn't be allowed to say that. And he was.
Yeah.
He said it too.
That's not very PG.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's where I think Max Max deserves his
His flowers, man.
as
He
a
does.
heel,
He's the whole
100%.
package, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He really is the whole. He can do everything.
I think he's the best heel professional wrestling right now because he can play it both ways. Here's the one thing you can't say about any other heel right now in all of the industry is that they absolutely do not care, that there's no empathy. He's playing a psychopath.
Yeah, he is.
And yes,
he is.
He's not a dangerous. He's not dangerous in like the Undertaker or the mythical way, right? In that's not the scoop. But he doesn't care.
Nope. He's desperate.
It doesn't matter who you are or where you came from or your family or who's in attendance, whatever it is, it's about Max all the time. If we're going psychological, it's narcissism, it's psychopathy, it's sociopathic behavior, and I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant when it comes to episodic TV. Speaking of brilliant, though, thank you so much, my friends. That's going to bring us to the end of the show. Everybody that tuned in, I hope you have a great Sunday. We really appreciate you. On behalf of me, Angie, Daz, everybody at WR, have a great rest of your evening. Tomorrow, we will be back. Not the same time, but the same place. That's going to be 11 a.m. Pacific time, which of course is 2 p.m. instead of 3 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. instead of 8 p.m. in the UK. And that's 8 a.m. instead of 9 a.m. for my good friends in Hawaii. Y'all have a great rest of your Sunday. Enjoy Heatwave. I hope you enjoyed Forbidden Door. I hope you enjoyed the show. And we will talk to you soon.